Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Bringing together gamers of all stripes, it's NOLA Gaming Fest on February 18th and 19th at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. Join us for 48 hours of all things gaming, marking this as the largest community gaming event to ever take place in Louisiana. There will be vendors, panels with game designers, game demos, tournaments with thousands of dollars in cash and prizes, and so much more. You can't miss NOLA Gaming Fest. For more information, go to nolagamingfest.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Broadcasting from the tubbyandcoos.com studios, here's David and Brian.
Good afternoon, New Orleans and beyond. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280, coming to you live from the tubbyandcoos.com studios. This is D Squared with
Brian Held.
Brian, how the hell are you, buddy?
I am uber fantastic today.
Uber? You work for Uber now?
No.
Oh, okay. But why would you use that word? That's a competition.
No, but it's a good word, right? It means I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, if you're German.
I am. I have a German ancestry.
Well, continue, please.
Well, we have some good news, Dave.
We do? Do we have some really, really good news?
We do have really, really good news.
All right, Brian. What do we have?
After all of our hard work, we've been with iHeart over a year now. You can now finally find us at iHeart.com or at the iHeart Radio app for your iPhone or Android.
So we're going to be like on the iHeart Radio app under like the podcast. So people can always catch our shows, even though they can currently catch us on iHeartRadio app. If they go to Fox Sports 1280, you can hear our live stream, which I learned how to coordinate both the commercials and everything. I'm learning stuff.
Nice.
But now, if we're not on the air, they can still listen to us. Is that what you're telling me, Brian?
That's what I'm telling you. I got the email today. They said that within 72 hours, you'll be able to search and find us at those locations. And, of course, all the other locations, Spreaker.com, iTunes, YouTube, Fox Sports AM 1280, all those locations will still have our show.
Right.
But this is a
just
big deal.
Another way for you, our listeners, to listen to the mellifluous tones of Brian Held. As he lulls you to sleep. So, as always, though, we strongly urge you to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek, or check out our website at twigradio.com, or follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
I just told everybody.
Oh, well, do it again.
All right.
No. Actually, I mean, you can if you want. Let's lay out the show first. All right, so we fired Skungy. He is kaput.
No.
No?
No, he's just off for the week.
You sure?
I am positive.
I distinctly remember saying fire him, Brian
Held.
Held.
We have a much better interview.
We do. Is it hashtag new Baca?
It is, or hot Baca for the ladies.
Oh, hot Baca.
Yeah.
He's pretty svelte.
Yeah, no, Joonas, he's the young actor who is portraying Chewbacca in the suits since Peter Mayhew can't get around as much as
Right.
he used to. And we met him at Wizard World and got an opportunity after the fact. It was actually last Saturday morning that I got to interview him. He took the time out of his day, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, he wants to play board games with us.
He does.
And we're not lying.
Right.
That's what's really crazy. But also, Brian, don't we have another guest, author by name of Paul S. Kemp?
Yeah, he's the author of A Conversation in Blood. It's one of the review copies that we got into the show.
Free books. We love them.
I know, we do. And it's a great book, great interview, so that'll be in the second segment.
And then, as always, we'll have top nerd news and This Week in Geek History. So, without much further ado, Brian, you ready?
Yes.
We'll do Joonas Suotamo?
Yeah, Joonas Suotamo.
Okay, we'll let him say his name. Here
All
we
right.
go.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show on Fox Sports 1280, and I'm joined by Joonas Suotamo, Chewbacca from the new Star Wars Episode VII. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks, Brian. And it's great to be in the show. Technically, Rogue One is the newest Star Wars film.
You're
but,
right.
I mean, Episode 7 is pretty new.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So you got me. You got my geek card. But
Thanks so much.
You just recently visited us at Wizard World. I mean, how was it? Was that your first time in New Orleans?
It's my first time in New Orleans, and I gotta say, I'm blown away by how vibrant the city was and how friendly all the people were, and it was a great show at Wizard World, and I can't wait to come back again in the future.
Definitely. I know you got to interact with a whole lot of fans. We saw a great picture of you trying to fit into that Rebel Legion life-size action figure box. I mean, that was a lot of fun, right?
It was a great fun. Yeah, the 501st and Rebel Legion were there, and they asked me to come into this toy box kind of thing, the Star Wars Black Series or something, like a toy box made in life size, human size version, and it was a funny moment when you get to take a picture of yourself in a toy box, basically. So that was fun.
Oh yeah. So now I know you can't talk about anything that's in production, but just since 7's already out, I mean, I can ask you. How was it in the suit, man? How was it to feel those big furry feet?
Well, it was outright amazing to be to have the opportunity to be part of the film, to say the least, but then to play this iconic character alongside the original actor Peter Mayhew was sort of a dream come true for me, because I knew I wanted to be an actor from an early age, and when that call came through, I'm going to get the role, I was beyond excited, because I knew I could do what I do best, which is emote and try to project these feelings of, this character into the screen. And that's what I've always wanted to do. And being Chewbacca, that was a special kind of challenge, but something that me and Peter, with the help of Peter,
right.
I achieved.
Well, and I guess there was a lot of the old guard that were on that set. Did you get advice from all of them?
Yes, they were all in line telling me, Joonas, here's what you got to do. Bullet points here and here. No, simple. I mean, kind of like that. I mean, they were very gracious about themselves. I mean, there was no air of arrogance from anybody. I mean, I was a little bit scared to meet Harrison Ford,
yeah.
but he turned out to be the best mentor kind of / legendary icon of an actor. So it was all that I dreamed about, and it turned out to be a great experience. And they kind of, just like a very good leader, you let your troops, let them make their own decisions. You don't micromanage them too much. So I thought that was something that happened there. Even JJ, who's done so many incredible things, he was kind of he lets you as an actor give your performance, which is a great thing to do, I think.
Well, and it just sounds to me from your descriptions that it's almost like joining a family atmosphere versus a stiff, business type deal, right?
I think that's the best way to describe it, because from very, very early on in the production, you kind of saw that JJ wants to do with his productions is to have that feel that you're all working towards a great thing. And this was the reunion of the original cast. This was the start of a new era in the Star Wars stories. So it was something when we started shooting in 2014 that it was a very, very special feeling of that something magnificent would be done, and it was very important to take it seriously, but also to enjoy the moment, because if you don't have fun, then what good is it to do anything, you know?
Right. So, I mean, have you been a lifelong Star Wars fan? I mean, have you been watching this since you were a kid?
Ever since my dad put the VHS on the VHS
Right.
tape into the machine, I've been a fan, because those were the movies that we watched along with Indiana Jones, the big movies,
Right.
the larger than life type of stories, which I've always loved. And I think Star Wars is in many other ways throughout my life has continued to be significant, because it's the ultimate story of triumph and, you know, of trial. And I think it's so important that it to me that that it's another reason that makes it so humbling,
Right.
you know, to be part of it.
So I have to ask, it seems like, of course, now Star Wars is permeating, you know, all aspects of your life. And I saw a picture of you playing the X-Wing miniatures game. So are you a gamer?
I'm a bit of a gamer, yes. I like it. I enjoy the board games. I enjoy these kind of strategy games, and also computer games and all kinds of games. I'm very much into, and I'm a big fan of a fantasy genre, but also I love the Star Wars, you know, all the related Star Wars board games and such. So yes, I am a gamer.
No, that's great, man. We've got tons of gamers in our fan base, and Dave and I ourselves love gaming. So no, it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So getting back to family, I also noticed that you were inducted as an honorary member of the Rebel Legion. How was that? Was that surreal?
It's very surreal. I mean, they kind of, because this is only my second time in the States, you know, seeing fans at the convention. Here they are already giving me these honorary memberships, and you know, these are I have to say, I haven't really, because I've never been to a celebration, and there's probably going to be tons of people there if I ever do visit a celebration. So I've yet to see what it really means. I have yet to understand, but I know there are tons of members, and I know it's a great organization, Rebel Legion and 501st.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very excited about that, and I'm very thankful for the awards. But you know, in honesty, this is just the beginning of the road for me. I've yet to meet all of them, and I can't wait to meet more of them in the future.
Any more upcoming appearances, or are you going to be back in the States anytime soon?
As of now, no. There's no upcoming things, and if something will, I'm planning to update my website about it. But as of now, there's no upcoming dates for any kind of shows.
Okay. Well, I guess our next opportunity to see you is going to, of course, be in December up on the big screen, right?
Well, it might be. You know, you never know.
Right. Yeah.
It's a thing where I don't know if it's been confirmed. We'll have to see.
All right.
Because I'm very much in the
Right. No, I'm not asking you to confirm or deny anything. Yeah. No, it's cool. But
there's a chance. There's a chance you will see this character in December.
It sounds good. No. All right. Well, Joonas, thank you so much for taking the time to just chat with me for a few minutes, and I wish you nothing but success in the future, man.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to be back because Week in the Geek, I think it's just an awesome name for a show, and I can't wait to maybe someday get to play some board games with you guys.
It's a date. You know, we're going to make that happen.
Absolutely. All right, man.
Thank you so much.
much.
All right.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
You'll see a bit of backup in Metairie on I-10 westbound. Watch for slowing between Bonneville and Power Boulevard, and traffic is also heavy in the Claiborne flyover heading to the Riverbound Expressway. We also still have some slowing coming to the east bank of the Crescent City connection. Watch for delays starting to build near De Gaulle. Slow-going traffic up toward the Smoothie King Center. I'm Lisa Baque. If you see traffic problems, call 504-620-1000.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
From the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz in the Fox 8 Weather Center. Keep that umbrella nearby. This afternoon, we're expecting a good chance of rain, some heavy downpours, possibility of some strong storms, and a flash flood watch in effect through 6 o'clock this evening, so drive with care. Now, tonight, overnight lows with rain tapering off in the low to mid-60s. Tomorrow, Friday, should be a drier day at 20% on the rain chance. Going to be warm, the high approaching 80, but then Friday night, Saturday morning, yet another round of possible severe weather. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Bruce Katz with your Weather Authority forecast.
This report is brought to you by the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is doctor recommended and backed by more medical studies than any other thermometer. Get yours at Walgreens and other fine retailers today.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
The best paints for the job site are at the Home Depot, specifically new Glidden Diamond Paint and Primer. It starts at only $23.98 a gallon. It's specially formulated to spray easier and cover walls faster. A lot faster. So you're done and on to the next job faster. Better paint means better jobs. New Glidden Diamond Paint and Primer starting at just $23.98 a gallon. You'll only find it in one place. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing. U.S. only.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief. Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Bringing together gamers of all stripes, it's NOLA Gaming Fest on February 18th and 19th at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. Join us for 48 hours of all things gaming, marking this as the largest community gaming event to ever take place in Louisiana. There will be vendors, panels with game designers, game demos, tournaments with thousands of dollars in cash and prizes, and so much more. You can't miss NOLA Gaming Fest. For more information, go to nolagamingfest.com.
This is the Week in Geek.
That is illogical, Ensign. Odors cannot travel through the vacuum of space.
On Fox Sports 1280.
Fascinating.
Broadcasting from the TubbyandCoos.com studios.
Most illogical reaction.
Here's David and Brian.
You realize that the aim will, of course, be very crude.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is Brian Held with
T-Squared.
All right, man.
All right, man. So we got that other interview coming up. So,
yeah. Hey, Joonas was really super cool, man, and he's freakishly tall.
Yes, that he is.
Yeah.
But he wants to play board games with us, so that's all that really matters.
I know.
Does our next guest want to play board games with us?
No.
No, let's not play it then.
Oh, come on.
No, but what's the book? You were pretty excited about it.
So it's called The Conversation in Blood, and it's kind of sword and sorcery type deal. It's a pretty interesting adventure, and one of the cool things is it's the third, I believe, in a series, but it didn't feel like that, right? Like there was enough context in the book that I was able to follow along without having read previous books, and that's always a plus. So,
all right, and so this was one of the advanced copies. When are we getting Harry Turtledove's newest?
I haven't heard anything. I can inquire for you, Dave.
Thanks, pal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's launch into this Paul S. Kemp interview.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show on Fox Sports 1280, and I'm joined by Paul S. Kemp, New York Times bestselling author and author of A Conversation in Blood that's due out January 24th. Mr. Kemp, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Brian?
I'm fantastic. So before we get started talking about this great book that we got a review copy from Del Rey, and I read it, I love it. But before we touch on that, what did you think about Rogue One?
I absolutely adored Rogue One. You know, I went actually with my wife, my father-in-law, and my 2 sons and 3 of their buddies. And, man, just it kind of had this, I mean, it had all of the feel and vibe of Star Wars, but then it had that kind of grim Empire Strikes Back feel to it, and it hit all the right notes with me in the very final scenes with Vader.
Yeah.
Holy moly! So you know, I wrote in addition to A Conversation in Blood and any number of other books, I write Star Wars books for Del Rey also. And my last one was Lords of the Sith, where I got to write Vader and Palpatine and in action. And so actually seeing Vader in that kind of action on screen was just something else. So long and short, that's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Fantastic. Now, one other question that I want to ask you before we start talking about your book is you're a role player. How long have you been doing that?
Well, let's see. I think when one of my junior high buddies introduced me to Dungeons & Dragons way back in 7th grade, maybe 6th grade. And so I've been doing it since then. I'm 47 now, so I guess that's a long time.
Most definitely. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely the right sort of environment to put together a book like A Conversation in Blood with featuring Egil and Nix. Tell me about these two.
Well, so, you know, I always think about some of the formative fiction for me as I was growing up. So when I first started playing D&D, for example, the same buddy who introduced me to Dungeons & Dragons introduced me to Fafhrd and the Grey Mouse, or Fritz Leiber's classic sort of sword and sorcery duo. And over the course of the years, I've written a whole bunch of things and have, I think, a handful of characters that I'm known for, but I always wanted to write something that really vibed with my love of kind of old school, golden age sword and sorcery, but also sort of brought up to date with modern sensibilities. And so Egil and Nix kind of represent that. And they are, you know, Nix is kind of the quick-witted, quick-bladed, sharp-tongued rogue of the two, and Egil is the much more philosophical, kind of taciturn priest of a faith of which he is the only adherent. Yeah. So he's a bit lonely in his religion in that respect. But
tell me about Ebenor, because that's the momentary god, right?
Right. So it's hard for me to say a lot about that, given what happens in A Conversation in Blood.
Okay.
But one of the things that I love a lot about old school sword and sorcery, and even old school fantasy to some degree, is that the world building kind of slowly unfolds for the reader over the course of many books.
Okay.
And the world is established for the reader on the strength of some relatively strong hooks, but there's not the kind of very elaborate, really I don't want to say cumbersome because that's sort of a value-laden term, and it's not true. I mean, I love elaborate world building also, but it's a different flavor than you sometimes see in epic fantasy today, where the world is this kind of detailed out gazetteer of every little possible detail of the world.
Right.
And, that can overwhelm some readers, and it's also sometimes just, it's not what you're in the mood for. Sometimes you want something that's much faster paced, much more kind of cinematic in tone, if you will. And so when I built the world of El-Earth, which is the world in which the stories of Egil and Nix take place, things like the faiths of the various sects and so on kind of unfold over the course of several books. So when we first meet Egil in The Hammer and the Blade, which is the first book in the series, he is a congregation of one in this, worshiping this deity who's sort of known almost ironically, dismissively, as the momentary god, because he was a man who aspired to godhood and attained it for a moment before that power consumed him utterly. So he was a god for a moment merely.
Nice.
And the idea of worshiping him is somewhat silly or absurd in a way, but that squares very much with Egil's worldview, which, because of some tragic events in his past, has given him almost a kind of nihilistic sort of view of the world and of events. And so it tickles his fancy, I guess, in a way, to worship a god who is no longer a god and no longer exists at all.
Well, and you mentioned The Hammer and Blade. Of course, that's the first outing of Egil and Nix. Then A Discourse in Steel. And then now the third book, A Conversation in Blood, which I have to say, having read this, and this being my first book to read of these two, thank you for making it accessible for somebody who's getting into it late. And now I'm excited to go back and check out the previous two.
Well, that's great to hear, because what I've tried to do here is, again, I don't want to keep circling back to sort of the formative fiction for me, but I think about Leiber, I think about Edgar Rice Burroughs, I think about Robert E. Howard and his Conan stories, and one of the beauties of those stories is because there are Easter eggs, if you will, if you read later stories that maybe refer back to previous ones, but many of the stories, many of the novels are themselves standalone, and one can pick up just about any Conan story and read it and not be lost. And likewise, what I wanted to do with Egil and Nix is, notwithstanding the fact that some previous events are referenced in A Conversation in Blood, things that happened in A Hammer and a Blade, things that happened in A Discourse in Steel, an encyclopedic knowledge of those events isn't necessary to enjoy the story, because the story is itself a kind of standalone. The characters are sort of quickly reestablished, the world is kind of quickly reestablished, and then you can just move through to the story.
No, and that makes it important for people just coming in like, hey, this looks great, let me check this out, and not being
Precisely.
completely lost. So
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that. And so folks can find you on the net, paulskemp.com, right?
Yeah, I'm at paulskemp.com. I'm always on Facebook. So Facebook and Twitter are really the best two places to reach me. On Twitter, I'm just at Paul S. Kemp, and Facebook, just have to search my name and you'll find me.
And, of course, A Conversation in Blood on newsstands, January 24, 2017. And, all the typical places, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those good places?
All the places.
All right, that sounds great. Well, Paul, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us and telling us all about this great book. We look forward to talking to you again.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely.
Man, Brian, you're getting pretty good at these things, huh?
I guess. I mean, practice makes perfect, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or perfect practice makes perfect. That is how it's supposed to go.
Oh, okay.
So, man, all right. So, 2 down. Two more segments to go.
Right. Top Nerd News is next, and there's a lot of silly news in here.
There is. And Captain Picard is the poop.
Oh, God.
He's the poop.
Oh.
It's official.
Oh.
Actually, we have a little snippet of the Emoji trailer movie coming up for you next. And I know you're excited, local celebrity Brian Eld.
I'm not. Stephen Wright's awesome, but no.
Okay. We'll go to break now. This is the Week in Geek on Fox Sports. We'll be right back.
From the Taxman Financial Service Traffic Center.
Look out for accidents. Loyola at Poydras Street, also North Claiborne at Franklin, Tulane at South Carrollton, and also Desai at Trafalgar Street. Traffic is still slow going on I-10 west in Metairie from Clearview Parkway out to Power Boulevard, and we still have some thick traffic developing heading to the East Bank side of the Crescent City connection. Watch for slowing between the bridge and the Smoothie King Center. I'm Lisa Baquet. Follow us on Twitter at Total Traffic NO.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
iHeartRadio just got better. We've always given you the best stations from across the country and personalized artist stations.
Don't forget, they were tearing the league up.
Today, we introduce unlimited access to our iHeartRadio music library. Millions of songs you can search and play on demand. Unlimited skips. Create your own playlists and take the music you love offline to listen without using data or needing a connection. Open the iHeartRadio app and try everything free for a month.
Thank you for taking me up on the offer.
Small business owners, here's a thought. 63% of the millions and millions of iHeartRadio listeners say they've made purchases based on what our personalities recommend. Think about that. Word of mouth has always been the best way for small businesses to grow. And we've got the biggest mouths around. Want to get tongues wagging about your small business? Call 844-BUY-RADIO.
LendUp.com is a better payday loan. Apply online and get an immediate decision. You could have cash in your account in 15 minutes. LendUp.com. Subject to availability in your state. Funding times vary by customer and an additional fee may apply. LendUp is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight pursuant to the California Deferred Deposit Transaction Law.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief. Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway, across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the Flea Market.
Bringing together gamers of all stripes, it's NOLA Gaming Fest on February 18th and 19th at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. Join us for 48 hours of all things gaming, marking this as the largest community gaming event to ever take place in Louisiana. There will be vendors, panels with game designers, game demos, tournaments with thousands of dollars in cash and prizes, and so much more. You can't miss NOLA Gaming Fest. For more information, go to nolagamingfest.com.
My name is Optimus Prime, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. Autobots, transform and roll out.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is Brian Held with
D-Squared.
I love that rejoinder.
I know. We need to get John Bailey back on the show, man.
All right.
So-
I'll let me take a note. I'll work on that.
Yeah, jot that down,
Yes.
will you?
So anyway, out of the gate here.
Wait, we got to do Top Nerd News, right?
Oh,
Is that
yeah,
what we're
you're right.
doing?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world. Brought to you by Kasha's Bazaar. Find them at 5727 Jefferson Highway. And now, our top nerd news stories.
Okay, now what's leading us off?
All right, yeah, I was trying to get out of the gate before the gate was open.
Yeah, I know. Such an eager beaver.
Fox is open to a Firefly reboot if Joss Whedon wants to.
If Joss Whedon wants to.
Yes. So, what does this even mean?
I don't know. Yeah, if I were to go to Fox with Dr. McCoy.
There's no intelligent life here.
I mean, nobody wants to try to. I mean, Shepard Book's dead.
Right.
Wash
and Wash
was
is
killed
dead.
in the
right.
movie. So, and didn't Fillion say that he doesn't want to do it?
Well, I mean Fillion's real busy, right? I mean, he's got all kind of stuff going on. Now, look, there's a lot of folks that are talking about, hey, why don't we see other aspects of that universe?
Right. I mean, they could go into the whole the brown coats and the not the Federation. Lord, what the hell was the name of the?
I don't even remember. It's been so long.
No, but I mean, it was a good world with the Reavers, but they explained the Reavers already in the movie.
Right.
But I mean, it was a fun world. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing something more along those lines. But, who's going to have that great cast again? Who's going to, if Joss Whedon writes it, you got a good shot at making a good product.
True.
But, I mean, and then Joss Whedon's got a full plate, too.
Right, and then there's always the risk that it's always going to get canceled after a season 2.
And, I didn't want to go there, Brian.
Yeah.
You have to go and be messy.
What are you talking
Being messy.
Yeah, but, I mean, we all know that, stuff gets canceled quickly
look,
over there.
actually, that kind of sort of leads into one of our next topics. There's a new one called on Fox called APB.
Right.
And with our friend Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. It's just like that other movie that they had with the new captain, with the new McCoy from the Star Trek movies, who was Judge Dredd. What's his? Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Yeah.
He had a great show, and
Almost Human.
That's it. And they canned it, and it was doing well.
I loved
so this
it.
APB looks like a nice futuristic mix between Minority Report meets, I don't know, Hill Street Blues. I don't know. I mean,
and it's interesting when I was reading the article. It's about a millionaire who takes over a police precinct with a plan to see if throwing a bunch of cutting edge tech and money at the crime problem can solve it. And as I read that, I'm like what happened in the French Quarter.
Your boy Bon Jovi.
And then
he's got a show called The Deed now.
Well, but the thing is that the next page says it actually inspired by a real life attempt of something similar in New Orleans French Quarter.
The French Quarter Task Force.
Right, and of course that was taken over by the local government, and it failed.
Now it's a big poop fest.
Yeah.
So I mean, unfortunately, this looks like a series that's got potential.
Yeah,
but it's on Fox. I mean, really. I mean, it's depressing to say that, but it's just, if you've got something good, don't bring it to Fox or CBS.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to want to put it on their little internet platform and charge for it. Because
that's
science
CBS,
fiction stuff doesn't work.
But guys, write into Fox. Tell them how you feel.
Nobody's going to write into Fox, and if they do, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. All right, let's talk about Captain McCarthy. Let's do something funny. Brian, have you seen the trailer for the Emoji Movie?
Seen this travesty.
That's not it. Here, let's take a listen.
Hello. As you can see, I'm an emoji. A meh, to be exact. Anywho, it's my pleasure to announce our first movie. Yay. So bring the family. Doesn't have to be your family.
So I told management, I can't work like this. These lights, I'm melting in here.
This is an ice cream cone talking. And then he sees poop.
No, go ahead. Finish that sentence.
Come out and see it this August. I'm positively euphoric right now. I might have to go lay down.
Express yourself. I like that song in the background, though. Express yourself.
So, really, a movie about emojis?
Brian?
What?
Listen, Brian.
What?
You're always going on about, I need something new from Hollywood. Here's something new from Hollywood, and then you're not happy with it.
Okay, how about something new and good?
How do we make you happy? See?
So it
new
has to be
and good?
Right, yeah.
No. It's coming from Hollywood. You never stipulated good. You stipulated new.
I mean, we're talking about Sir
Playoffs.
Patrick.
We're talking about playoffs. Are you kidding me? Playoffs.
We're talking about Sir Patrick Stewart, right?
Yes, and he's got the greatest quote ever.
No, go ahead. Finish that sentence.
I mean, he is a poop.
He's a poop.
I mean, that's really.
He's the turd emoji.
I mean, I'm sure, he understands what's happening. He
does he
signed
need
on
money?
for it.
But actually, it's so funny. We're uber nerds here, so we've watched some of the deleted scenes and stuff from the original, next gen stuff, right? And and some of the behind the scenes stuff was that he was a prude. He had a stick up his butt just like you, and eventually you remove the stick surgically, and you're better now. But he took it too seriously. He's like, we have much to hold up with the Star Trek world, but then they wanted to have fun, and he finally cut loose, and he became a captain, and that now that he's doing what's that series he's doing on Showtime or something.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's like a lunatic in that one, and that's great.
That looked good, right? But it's emojis, right? I'm expecting something out of this like the dude who was ranting about Pixels, if you remember, like the most epic.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as Pixels now. Adam Sandler's name is not attached to this.
All right. Well,
it just only physically looks like poop, Brian. It might still be a good movie. We don't know.
Oh, geez.
All right, so what are your thoughts on your boy Pierce Brosnan? Possibly being cast as Cable because of that picture that came out with Logan, Deadpool,
Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it'd be a good call, man. Pierce Brosnan is a consummate action, actor. I mean,
his ill-fated Bond didn't do very well, and if he'd have become Bond, if he'd have stopped Remington Steele and gone straight to Bond. But he did some other stuff because there was some contract issues. I remembered it distinctly because everybody wanted Pierce, and we got some other,
right. But
horrible guy.
Wasn't there another movie about some art thief that he did too?
The Thomas Crown affair.
Yeah,
that's it. And that was just kind of.
No, I like that movie,
really?
dude. Yeah, I thought it was a great movie.
Nah.
Absolutely. Well,
I'm excited.
You have no taste, Dave.
Okay, but that's why I like the Emoji Movie and you don't.
Exactly. But so I think it's a good call, man. I would be totally excited.
I always pictured Cable as being chunkier, but when I'm on further reflection, I'm seeing it's not really that he's chunky. He's just got so many damn weapons strapped to him.
Well, that and it's Rob Liefeld who did the artwork on that, and he needs a perspective class. So.
Are you attacking a doodler?
Yeah. Other doodlers agree. So
does Preston Avocado agree?
He does.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then, all right. He needs a perspective class.
Preston Avocado is a good doodler.
He is. He had some really cool pieces at Comic-Con this year.
He did.
I like the Jason.
What about this Drew Barrymore thing?
Oh man, actually, it looks kind of funny. It's Drew Barrymore, Timothy Oliphant, Nathan Fillion's going to pop up in it, and your boy Patton Oswalt, who you quote ad nauseum.
I do.
You need a new comic hero icon or whatever it is.
I do.
But it's basically. It's starting to become a worn-out trope. It's a zombie thing where she becomes a zombie, but she doesn't look like a zombie. And she basically becomes a cannibal. Right. And so the family, I'm sure the first 2 episodes are nothing but like dead jokes and screen gags and stuff.
Well, it's called the Santa Clarita diet.
Yeah.
And the family is feeding people who deserve to die to the mom.
Yes, the people they are looking for are young Hitler types, young single Hitler types.
Right.
And the funny part was they say that quote in the trailer, and he said, think about it, we'd be freaking heroes.
That's ridiculous.
So it looks kind of funny. It's on Netflix. I already have it. So
wow,
it's worth a shot.
That's right. You do have.
I do. I've moved into the 20th century.
All right.
Just the 20th.
We probably have to get to a break soon.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
You want to talk about the Supernatural real quick?
Yeah, Supernatural season 13 is confirmed. Man, they're going to have another one. It's going to keep on coming, dude.
Well, but they've already made history and it's the longest-running fantasy sci-fi series on U.S. television.
Yeah, in their genre, right?
And if it's typical 22-episode order, it'll be 285 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I hope they make it to 300. That way they can have another musical episode.
Nice.
All right, guys, you are listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports. When we get back, we'll close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Before you get booked up, head over to 631 North Carrollton, right off Orleans, to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop. Off the books, Tubby & Coos is a nerd mecca for books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. So book it over to Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton. If you don't want to do it by the book, use their free Wi-Fi and check their stock at tubbyandcoos.com. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, where it's all geek to me.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief. Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Bringing together gamers of all stripes, it's NOLA Gaming Fest on February 18th and 19th at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. Join us for 48 hours of all things gaming, marking this as the largest community gaming event to ever take place in Louisiana. There will be vendors, panels with game designers, game demos, tournaments with thousands of dollars in cash and prizes, and so much more. You can't miss NOLA Gaming Fest. For more information, go to nolagamingfest.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
This is Kate Mulgrew for The Week in Geek, Fox Sports, 1280 a.m. Just kidding. It's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, the Major from Ghost in the Shell. Listen, or the Tachicomas are going to get you.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is Brian Held with
D-Squared.
So,
right. What?
Real quick, I want to mention Need It Relief Massage Therapy, one of our fine sponsors, always has 20% off of your rebooking if you rebook regular sessions.
Really?
Yeah, and if you can set up some like regular occurrences like auto withdrawals with her, she has other discounts available as well. I have personally gone and gotten a massage from Need It Relief, and let me tell you what, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and she's absolute professional, very well knowledgeable about what she's doing.
Well,
And
I like it when she goes to the cons and has her set up there with the chair and everything. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so definitely want to check her out. Need It Relief Massage Therapy. You can just go ahead and Google that. So, all right, you ready for some This Week in Geek History, Dave?
Sure thing, Brian. This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by NOLA Gaming Fest, February 18th and 19th at the Pontchartrain Center. Find out more at nolagamingfest.com. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, wow. So, Brian, did you
What?
notice something?
What?
We have a new intro for the Week in Geek History.
I noticed that,
we
yeah.
have a new sponsor there, too.
We do. It's great.
Crazy. NOLAGamingFest.com.
Yeah, IGL.GG on the net.
No, it's NOLAGamingFest.com.
That works, too.
I don't believe IGLGG works.
It does.
You're full of baloney.
I have
But it's
proven it.
February 18th and 19th
Yes.
at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner, Louisiana.
Kenner,
Kenner, Louisiana.
Yes.
Brian, be professional,
All
damn
right.
it.
I'm just, you can't
Kenner,
say.
bruh.
You're right, exactly. All right, you ready for the first item?
I am.
All right, January 16th, 2007.
This one is for our friend of the show, Kimberly B. Richardson. The first World of Warcraft expansion, The Burning Crusade, is released to North America and Europe.
And it exploded.
So wait, which one was that? The first one?
Yes, the first expansion for WoW was The Burning Crusade.
Okay,
yeah.
the expansion. All right.
Yeah, and
when did WoW come out, though?
I'd have to look that up, but it's been probably over 15 years at this point. But it's funny you said that it exploded, because Burning Crusade was an exploded planet. It's like chunks of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that.
Nah, no, it's.
Whoops. I totally knew that. All planned.
Right. No, but what's next? All right. I'm sorry. I'm pulling up. Look.
What are you doing, Brian?
IGL.GG. It works. I just pulled it up.
I don't believe you. Let's finish this week in Geek History.
January 17th, 1984. The 30-second version of the groundbreaking Apple commercial, 1984, is included among theatrical previews in movie theaters across the country. And it was directed by Ridley Scott. Do you remember that?
No.
So basically, in 1984, Apple was releasing its Macintosh computer, and did a version. Their commercial was done in the style of Orwell's 1984, right?
Okay, all right, yeah.
And it was huge. It was first shown at the Super Bowl. And that was the first commercial made specifically for that audience that launched the media empire that is the Super Bowl commercials. That was the first one.
Get out.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, the whole thing opens with all of these just kind of drones, these workers in this drab environment.
Right.
And they're walking into, like, this theater to get in front of a screen where this talking head is just talking, Big Brother-esque. Right. And then there's a woman in colorful clothes, running shorts and a crop top, and she's got a hammer, and she's running, and there's people chasing her, and she breaks into where the broadcast is and slings the hammer at the screen and explodes it.
Okay.
And the whole deal is like, on January 24th, we released the Macintosh, and 1984 won't be so much like 1984.
Ah, I see what they did there.
Yeah, but it was huge, man. It was
I need to go. I'm going to have to YouTube that.
Yeah, I did it when I was researching the notes.
Well, apparently you described the commercial beautifully, bro.
All right,
well
you're
done.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
January 18th, 1974. Starring Lee Majors, the first episode of The $6 Million Man airs on ABC.
Nice.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the closest we had to any sort of, like, sci-fi.
Well, I mean, Battlestar Galactica.
Well, yeah.
What
year was that?
74.
Okay. All right.
And I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, neither was I. I don't know, but I mean, I remember watching it. I mean, how long was its run?
It was probably reruns we were watching.
Maybe so. That's probably what we were doing. Reruns.
Reboots. So, January 19th, 1998. This one I found very interesting. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, publicly asserts the authority to regulate human cloning and announces that it would be a violation of federal law to attempt to clone a human without a permit. So,
without a permit.
Guys, get that paperwork in and we could be cloning humans tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
That's how it works with all that government stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what? All the stuff with what was the name of that sheep?
Dolly.
Dolly. There you go. I mean, I don't see why we're not like cloning the hell out of like cattle, man.
Well, I mean, there are
more meat for the meat eaters.
There is cloning things happening. I mean, of course, all the stem cell research and things like that.
Shoot, I think since we've been on the air, going on 4 years now, I remember like. The first 6 months of the show, I opened up with how they were making lab-grown beef.
Yeah.
And apparently it's getting closer, but, I at least 3 times during the tenure of our show, we've announced that they're going to make lab-bred, lab-created meat.
Right.
But they have yet to get it.
Well,
So just clone the damn cows already.
Look, all those.
I want more burgers and meat.
All those doctors are always practicing. Eventually, they'll get it right, and we'll get the lab-grown meat.
All right. I'd rather a cloned cow.
All right, next item on the list is January 20th, 1885. LaMarcus Thompson of Coney Island, New York, is issued the first U.S. patent for a roller coaster. Yeah, the Gravity Pleasure Switchback Railway. Let's see, it was 5 cents a ride. Passengers sat sideways in a car that travels 600-foot wooden railway at a top speed of 6 miles an hour. And he was later dubbed the father of gravity, and he earns back...
He stole Newton's moniker?
Yeah, apparently.
How do you do that?
Well, because he kind of gave us modern roller coasters, and he earned back his $1,600 investment in just 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good on you. Well done, sir.
Yeah. Let's see. January 21st, 1942. New York Mayor LaGuardia bans pinball games in New York City, comparing them to slot machines and labeling them games of chance.
Man, what a punk.
Yeah, well,
What a punk. Man, I want to play, whatever.
All right. Birthdays, you ready? 16th, John Carpenter, director.
Hey.
Yeah. 17th, James Earl Jones.
I love Darth Vader. Well, no, John Carpenter, man, I mean, he needs to learn some new riffs. He's always, like, whenever he does that music, it's always something like he's playing a piano with both his pointer fingers.
Yeah. On the 18th is Dave Bautista.
Hey,
Yeah.
Drax.
Yeah. On the 19th, Katie Sagal. She was Peggy Bundy.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
And she was the one-eyed person in Futurama,
Yes,
too.
Leela. Yeah.
Leela, that's it.
On the 20th, Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor, the Doctor.
Yes, by all accounts.
And the 21st, Gina Davis.
Oh, there's no crying in baseball.
Right. She was also in Beetlejuice, if you remember that.
She was.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, looks like we're about to hit the tail end of our show. So, Brian, how can people listen to our show?
They can go to iHeart.com or the iHeart Radio app for their smartphone or tablet, Spreaker.com, iTunes, YouTube, and at FoxSportsAM1280.com. Guys, we have a great interview next week with Power Wheels NASCAR.
Power Wheels.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Awesome. So, yes, we are now on the iHeart Radio app. Off the air. So once we're done, you can always go check us out on the iHeartRadio app, The Week in Geek. All right, guys, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports 1280 WODT New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.